Bull or bear? I'm spinning an 1890 Carson City Morgan dollar, probably about VG or so condition for you coin nerds out there. And comes up a bear there. I'm curious. It seems like my coin is more right than wrong by like 51% of the time. Anyways, what's up, folks? This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in a very blustery and rainy Lauderdale by the Sea. We're kind of on the back end of that storm going up the Gulf. If any of you are familiar with the kind of weather system, semi-cyclone that's traveling up into the Gulf of Mexico. We're catching kind of the rear end of that. Sunny skies, but a storm occasionally. But boy, it is windy. That storm is sucking a lot of wind, that's for sure. Speaking of sucking wind, let's get into what we're going to talk about today. Still a lovely day. Look at that. A little dangerous, though. I certainly wouldn't let my kids out there with the current tow and undertow and all that stuff. But anyways, that's a whole different story. All right, let's get into what we're talking about. And what is it we're talking about today? We're going to talk precious metals, of course. What else? All right, current and other things, some cool stuff. I'm going to talk about, when big dealers go down, in the bullion industry, and the dealers that kind of stay above water, and how and why. Maybe some other interesting things like that. We're going to talk about a little bit of news there. I'll throw in some couple things on a graph I want to show you we haven't spoke about in a while that's kind of meaningful considering what could happen this week. But we'll get to that in a moment. Let's just kind of see where we closed it on Friday, 24.42. Still pretty damn good price if you ask me, even though we were looking at closing in that $2,500 mark, which I think we at some point will hit. I believe it's hit it in the futures markets already. Somewhere. Silver 28.59. Wow, that thing was really surprised. Silver surprised me on Friday. We were at that $29 plus mark, and then it got wackadoodled, monkey hammered again in the midday Crimex markets, and platinum just kind of sitting in that mid, $900 to $1,000 range. Palladium, wow, what a cheap metal that is. I mean, I've been saying for a while, if there's two metals that you got extra money that you figure, hey, listen, I'm going to buy something super cheap. Don't know when it's going to run up to the upside, but how can you go wrong with palladium and platinum with these metals? In my opinion, I can't see. I mean, I have seen the last couple of years, I think, a low in 750 or something like that, and platinum 775 didn't stay there long, but stayed kind of in the 800 for a little bit. But 900's range it's been for quite some time. But palladium, man. And if you think the silver markets are small and probably monkey hammered, I can imagine what the palladium and platinum markets are like too. Interestingly enough, though, I have noticed that platinum has been kind of a tell for me. It seems to work. It seems to be a leading indicator, and all I got to do is just take a look at my little right here and see when I see that in red. Typically during the day or during the week, and silver and gold are still in the green or sideways, it kind of is telling me that I think we're going to get whacked. And reverse of that too, when I start to see platinum in the green, when I start to see that little box in the green right there, while these are kind of in the red still, we're kind of just like sitting sideways, kind of tells me that they're going to go up as well. Who knows why that is? Maybe it's just an observation, and I'm tying two events together that have really nothing to do with each other, that just happen to be coincidentally, working inversely, well, not inversely, but in tandem with each other. I should say inversely, in tandem with each other. Just an observation I've made, and it's well. Anyways, I should have written it down and taken the data and see how good I was on picking that out. But so far, if you see platinum in the green right here, and these two metals are kind of sideways in the red, I think it's going to go up. All right, let's see what's happening. I mean, everyone's talking about the Dow and what's going on. I mean, you got wackadoodled itself on Friday, monkey hammer, so to speak. SP 500, all of that stuff kind of in the red if you take a look at it. That includes gold and Bitcoin as well. And futures markets, as you can see, silver kind of in the green, surprisingly, on the end of the day on Friday in the COMEX markets, or in the aftermarkets, I guess, is what they might be showing here. I'm not sure if that's New York close on this site, Seeking Alpha. But no less, they're kind of interesting. Silver in the green there. I didn't even look at that. Everyone's kind of concerned what's going to happen in the stock market. A lot of people are considering we're going to see a huge smackdown this week in the stock market. I am certainly not qualified to say whatsoever. I mean, I know nothing about stocks, bonds, and very little about derivatives. I know enough about it to be dangerous, but it's not my market, so to speak. But that's the big talk all this week, and I'm going to kind of get into that in a little bit here as well, talking about stocks well, let's do it right now, actually. Interesting chart. I like macro trends. They get some free charts, but I kind of was just thinking, everyone's talking about the stock market, and gold is actually doing well, and the stock market's not doing so well. And I remember that macro charts are macro trends. I'm sorry, free charts, and they got some really cool stuff there. If you want to go play around on their site, has pretty decent. Pretty decent charts. But taking a look at the Dow to gold ratio 100-year chart, I started to look here and I said, well, let's take a look at this, and I guess this is not surprising that probably one of the lowest ratios we've seen from Dow to gold, the price of gold right here, would be during the 1980. Take a look at that, where it was 1.58 to 1 on the Dow to gold ratio right there. And when are other times we have seen that too, oddly enough, during the Depression, or right during the Depression. And if you take a look at this, because what macro trends does do is they show you recessions, depressions to some degree right here, and there's your really, there's probably one of the worst stock market crashes of all time. I guess I don't know how it compares to 2008. 2008 looks worse on this chart, but there you go. The Great Depression right there, and that's where you see the lowest 2.93. Where is it? 1.94. There you go to 1 from the Dow to gold ratio. Then you go back through here and you look through the decades right here. The ratio kind of increases more and more and more. All of a sudden, it just falls off a cliff. Now, take a look at this. Interestingly enough, that's kind of when Nixon took us off the gold standard. What was it, 72 or something like that, 73? And we had a little recession right there. I think we had some oil issues going on. It kind of comes back up again. Take a look at that as well. Another recession, 1982. You can see the little line right there. Now these are recessions. I guess you can't call them depressions. Maybe when you get a thick line like that, you can call that a depression. But take a look at that ratio as well. Again, 1980, 1.84, 1.94 over here. And as you can see, through the 80s and the 90s, that ratio climbs substantially until you get into 2000, the exuberance of the .com NASDAQ, actually, I think, or not NASDAQ, but this is Dow, but the exuberance of the stock market right here through this area. And then we see the decline here again, leading through. Well, there's your, right there, 2008. There's your little depression, recession right going on there as well. And oddly enough, that's kind of right before there as you see your drops. And, well, there is a correlation here. There is a great correlation here to what seems to be these recessions. What I find interesting, though, is look at this line back here. You see that looks like a little blip of a recession, or what they're calling a recession. I'm sure I'd like to see what macro trends is referring to. That would be 1980. And the inference here on this chart is that this little white line indicates that that is not a recession for a short period of time, 1980 to... But on the other hand, this could be like the Carter, 78, 80. I can't really see where that gray line comes in, but look how closely that aligned is. I mean, basically about the same thing as that without the recovery there, short period of recovery. Don't ask me why we had that. However, interesting chart, folks. And, kind of what I'm thinking is if we see, again, small recession here, small blip of recession according to macro trends, a little transition period where everything seems okay, and then boom. A little longer recession where gold and silver starts to, the gold and silver ratio starts to climb up there. Strange period. And are we going to see that again? What do you think? Are we going to see another 2 or 3 ratio, 3 to 1 for the Dow Jones to gold ratio? I think it'll be interesting to see. I mean, a lot of folks right now are saying no way, no way, no way, but I'm sure people back here were saying no way that was going to happen, and people here were saying no way that was going to happen, and we didn't quite get that full Dow Jones to gold ratio like we did in earlier recessions and issues right here in 2012. But that was kind of short-lived. Remember, the banks came in and they bailed out the system with a lot of money, and there you go right there when you see the Dow ratio starting to go up. All right, that's just kind of my perception of it. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. All right, let me quickly get into premiums. one of the things I'm really surprised about, and this is going to feed into what I'm going to talk about in a little bit about potential of, bankruptcy of, or watching maybe big bullion dealers declare bankruptcy or go down. And there's a reason I said that, and I'll get into that in a moment. But meanwhile, well, good reason. Retail sales have absolutely just fallen off a cliff for precious metals. Stackers, gold and silver dealers in the United States. I'm not quite sure. I think China's doing very, very well. I think precious metal dealers are doing well in China. I think precious metal dealers do very well in India as well. In places where they value owning physical gold more, I think the dealers are doing pretty well. United States, we live in a country where very few of us, you guys are lucky. You might be the lucky. We are lucky. We are a small percentage of the gold and silver bar and coin owning world community. Americans are. I mean, most Americans closest they get to owning gold and silver is through their IRA, through ETFs or something like that, SLV, GLD, Sprott, whatever the ETFs are out there. More commonly SLV and GLD. That's most people's exposure to gold and silver. But gold and silver coin buyers, far and few between. That explains why retail gold and silver bars sales have fallen off a cliff, because most of that small community of us are already bought in. Well, the dealers, obvious, but most of the community out there, the stacker community, is already bought in. Gold and silver hasn't hit the news in great degree to bring in new stackers like we've seen back in 2020 and we've seen in other periods of time. Oddly enough, with gold breaking brand new highs, you think you'd see more and more people coming in buying gold, saying, "Man, fear of missing out," the FOMO moment, But not so, not true. We're not really seeing that. I think the only people really buying gold out there in mass are central banks and very savvy people that are buying it as a form of wealth protection. And security and that kind of thing, and the fact that they believe that gold will probably go up quite a bit as well. So, again, retail sales on gold and silver and platinum falling off a cliff. It is a good thing, and I'm speaking for myself, that I make a living doing rare coins, currency, collectibles. I pretty much, lucky for me, have been fortunate to do all these different things. So if one area in our business is not doing so well, we're doing pretty good with other areas. And I think I had that discussion with Mr. Rafi Farber in a video I did with him not too long ago. So I'm going to get into premiums here in a moment. I keep talking. But meanwhile, you got to be diversified, I think. Right now, if you're just doing gold and silver retail only, man, it's got to be tough. It really, really has to be tough right now. So I'm kind of expecting, to see maybe some go away. And we're going to talk about big bullion dealers that have gone away, and how that looks like, because history doesn't always repeat itself, but it often rhymes. All right, premium prices. And in case you forgot, my name is Brian Kuzmar. I'm commercial rare coins and precious metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. Buy and sell all types of gold, silver, and platinum products, coins, and bars. Very competitive. We'll beat SD, JM Bullion, and all the big boys out there on their prices. And we'll also beat the locals down here in Florida. So if you're looking for really good prices, and remember, I make money in other things as well, so I don't have to charge too much for the bullion I sell you. And I'm very competitive as well. If you're looking for great prices, make sure you check us out at Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals. And there's my website right there. And we do not have a website where you can order stuff. If you're looking to buy gold and silver in any kind of quantities, larger quantities and stuff, give us a call. We do it the traditional methods, over the phone, bank wires, and all the the cool old secure methods, old school way of doing things. If you're looking for someone to press a button and put something on your credit card, sorry, I can't help you folks. But that's why my costs are so low, and that's why we can offer you such a great deal. What's the best deals out there when it comes to let's talk about silver first here. Best deals out there in silver are probably going to still be, I'm going to say 1 ounce rounds, at spot plus $2 or less, I think, depending on the quantity that you're buying. 1 ounce silver eagles, which is the most overpriced product of all the silver products that we sell. I put a silver eagle up here, but it looks, almost like that, but gold. But silver, I'm sorry. Silver eagles, I got them for spot plus $4.75 in quantity, $5 in small quantity. And of course, if you check around to the other guys and your other people out there, you'll see that's a very competitive price. But I got to talk you out of buying silver eagles. You're better off sticking with 1 ounce bars. What's the next best deal? Well, I'm gonna have to say 100-ounce bars are really a sweet deal. If you get them in quantity, you give them at spot plus $1.50 or less, or no more than spot plus $1, like the $1.60. I mean, that's $1.60. That's a pretty damn good deal over spot. Again, if you're buying large quantities, you get it for less. Kilos are a good deal at spot plus $1.75, $1.85 over the silver price. And again, remember, folks, I'll beat prices out there for SD, JM, Bullion. Let me preface that. I cannot beat their special prices. And when they run specials on things, it's two things. When you see a product that like they're really cheap on and they call a sale or a special, that is what we call in the industry loss leaders. They're trying to get your name and address and phone number so they can send you more stuff. And they'll usually put a product out there at cost or less than cost, depending on how bad business is, just to kind of draw you in and get you as a new customer. Or maybe when things get better, they'll slam you as a new customer as well. So those are called loss leaders. Another reason you'll occasionally see product out there super cheap compared to other dealers from reputable big companies like SD and JM Bullion, and you'll see specials from them, is they're overstocked and prices of gold and silver went up quite a bit. They're in a good profit margin and so they're making money. They can afford to lower it. They're overstocked and they get your name and phone number on top of it. So there's why you see sales and stuff like that, which I'm not willing to meet or beat. Let them take the beating on that and get your name and phone number. I don't really need that. And I'm going to tell you, take advantage of it. When they have it, take advantage of it. That's the thing. Take advantage of low prices. But they're traditional everyday prices. I'll beat them. All right. So let's get into gold. We'll talk about gold. There's so many products we can talk about, but I can tell you that if you're looking to buy anything, I will beat most prices that you see out there, legit prices from the big legit dealers, the 800-pound gorillas, the respectable companies who a good company wants to beat, like myself. Eagles, are still very reasonably priced. 100, you can get them as cheap as $105 over spot gold eagles. That's not bad considering that, but Krugerrand spot plus 65 and 20 plus quantities as well. That's what we sell them. Again, if you're buying less, you got to pay a little bit more. But premiums on gold are really good right now. There's no complaints, in my opinion, on the prices of gold. All right. And what are we going to talk about now? Well, I was just talking about bullion dealers. What bullion deals? I mean, is there a chance that a big bullion dealer out there is going to go down if retail sales don't pick up in gold and silver markets? Well, I think it's highly probable. I mean, how do you sustain your business model unless you start firing people and all that stuff if you are not selling the product? Especially for the bullion deals out there, that's all they do. And they pop up all the time. They come and go. But I think we might be surprised to see that, some might go. Interesting thing that I noticed with one of the big bullion companies that I don't mention as much anymore because I don't think they're as competitive on bullion as they used to be was APMEX. But I believe APMEX started going into rare coins as well. I started to see them list rare coins and set up at coin shows. And it was kind of a tell to me at the time because APMEX was one of the early on strong guys that was pretty competitive in bullion markets. And when the bullion started getting slow and sales started getting slow, I noticed it. All bullion guys noticed it. But I think APMEX noticed it too and started moving into different markets. And the rare coin market might be one of them. Now, forgive me if I'm wrong, but other companies are still kind of like completely depending on retail bullion sales to make their money. So I mean, I'd be afraid of who I gave too much money to out there. Now, I would not worry. Again, hold on. Let me preface that. I'd not worry about the big 800-pound gorillas out there. Highly unlikely that there would be an issue, in my opinion, because, again, big corporations, they know when something's going to happen and they're going to kind of lock it down and close it down before it does, hopefully. But I've seen it before, man. I've been in this market since 1977 when I started working part-time for my father. I don't think it was part-time. Yeah, it was part-time. And I've seen it so many times with folks coming in with, hey, man, I didn't get my gold from this company, and they were storing it for me. One of the first I've ever seen, and funny enough, hold on one second, I got the business card here, sitting behind me, anybody remember this name? The IGBE, International Gold Bullion Exchange. And I got a card from a guy, I better not mention his name, that worked there. But their number was 565 gold. and they went down big. Remember, those are the guys that had the painted wooden blocks in their safe. The first example, that was a 1980s market. And I remember a customer of mine and my father's early on the time in the 1980s when IGBE came along. And customer, let me see if I can type in there, international gold bullion. I wonder if anybody ever used that name again. I hope not. International Gold Bullion Exchange. All right. News. International. Bullion Exchange. There we go. All right. Wikipedia has something on everything. It was founded in '79 by, not always right either, trust me, brothers William and James Allardyce. I remember that. So it reported the largest retail gold bullion dealer in the United States at the time, and this is true. They were claiming this, and they were in Fort Lauderdale, my area, Broward County, right here. I was in Boca with my father at the time. File Chapter 11. You can read the story yourself. Just type in International Gold Bullion Exchange. I think maybe they got it right on this, possibly. What an interesting thing. These guys end up murdered and dead. But our client, and I'll just say his name is Dick. I don't have to give his last name. And that was his name. Had retired from IBM and had got like a $30,000 severance package and said, "Oh, hey, hey, Brian, Ed, can you?" And I was young at the time. Can I buy some KRs from you at such and such price? And I think at the time they were like 5% over. We're 5% premium at the time. And we said, "Okay, well, here's what they cost you, Dick." And Dick said, "Oh no, man, IGBE down in Broward County, I forget exactly where it was, said that they can sell them to me at spot." And my father and I kind of looking at each other, there's no fucking way, excuse my language, but there's no way that can happen. We told Dick that's no way. We have to pay more than that just on the wholesale level. Dealers are paying more than that for him. Big wholesalers are paying more than that for him. You go, no, he didn't want to hear it. Long story short, Dick ended up giving his money to IGBE, who ended up holding his gold or not giving it to him. And I believe a year or so later, he came in with his tail between his. He lost it all, folks. Unfortunately, but you know what? That's kind of too good to be true. Probably is, my friends. Where are we going with this? And it's gone. There's a good, reference to South Park, I believe. So, and I've seen this throughout my life, folks. And I've told people that have called me, it's too good to be true. It is. And you know what? People get suckered in, man. Sometimes people are cheap and they figure, I can get something cheaper than everyone else, and and they pay for it. One of the if you type in precious metals dealer bankrupt, you'll just get pages and pages. And we're going to talk about this one in a moment here. I'll get to that in a moment, because I kind of knew a little bit about this. Didn't know the guy well. Might have met him a couple of times, but that was an instance of where it just completely got away from someone. I mean, there's different types of fraud in precious metals. There's fraud where someone runs a company and improperly it gets away from them. They're not able to recover, and the next thing you know, the company's going down. And then there's just outright fraud, where the fraud is from the very beginning, and the intent is to defraud you from the beginning. And there's a lot of those out there, folks, too. That's why I'm always telling you, careful who you deal with. Make sure they have a long-term record that you can verify, maybe some references, like I do, and any good precious metal and coin dealer does. But anyway, let me move along here. How does $40 million worth of gold disappear? That's going to be an interesting story. Again, we're going to talk about. But listen, you can just go through pages and pages of this. And if and I can't tell you how many times I have called on telemarketing companies that were screwing people for gold and silver. I've called regulators, the CFT, which I now understand these regulators are completely worthless. The only time they do anything is when the victim is drowned, and then they go in and grab the drowning body out of the water and raise their hands like they're big heroes. But the regulatory agencies, folks, don't think you are protected in any way, shape, or form. They don't come in and do anything until after you've been robbed, and chances of you getting your money back is slim to none. Okay, but anyways, there's pages and pages of these type of guys. And I want to talk about one in particular, is Hans Tolving. Some of you may remember this guy. Kudos to Coin Week. They ran a great series on this, by the way. You can read it. Court imposes $15.7 million penalty against precious metal Hans Tolving. I think that there's very few people out there that I think there's very few older precious metal dealers that are involved with online sales or familiar with them that won't say that Hans Tolving had one of the largest precious metal online sites back in the kind of earlier heyday. 2019 when he was, but this is back, 2015, 16, 17, I forget. But one of the first really big guys out there, his site was very simple. It was doing large volumes of sale, but made the mistake that a lot of small business people do, or people that aren't familiar with that, commingled his funds, commingled customers' order funds with his business stuff. And I honestly believe, I don't believe he was a crook. I believe he just did it the wrong way, let it get away from him, and then tried to cover it up just by robbing Peter to pay Paul. So there you go, rather than close down the company. But I don't believe he purposely fraud, Again, I may be wrong on that, but there's two types of these kind of guys. And again, why do I bring up Hans Tolving and the fact that, I don't think he purposely started from the beginning to defraud people, that he kind of got caught up in stupid accounting practices and that kind of thing. Why? And a bad market too, perhaps. Why do I bring that up? Because it could happen even to the most well-intentioned companies out there, folks. This is why I'm always really strong and vocal about you physically. If you're going to buy gold and silver, be your own custodian. Be your own custodian, because even the most well-intentioned, can go down. And he wasn't even a custodian. He was just failing to make delivery on orders, folks. So, don't put yourself in something where you can involve second party risk, another second party or some kind of risk, third party risk, whatever the hell they call it. Definitely hold your own stuff, and I think that's we're going to see important lessons in that. And as far as precious metal dealers, they come and they go, and anyone, again, I believe that is really specifically only doing precious metals right now has got to be hurting, because the sales are horrible. They have to be looking at additional ways of making revenue or doing something really special or different, because the sales just are not there. So again, folks, it's possible. Could we see a chapter 11, I think it is, chapter 13, whatever the heck it is, I'm sorry, and something come up in the future on one of these large bullion companies, if they aren't able to morph and go with the flow of less mark. I think a lot of them are holding on right now, hoping for the next market coming up. But man, we're in a major bull market in gold in the last couple of years, and we just haven't seen it, man. Haven't seen the sales. And again, my explanation: Americans, we don't hold gold. We don't. We're not like the Asians and the Indians. We're just not like them. We don't hold large amounts of gold like we used to. In fact, we don't care about it. And that's why retail sales suck in America, and that's why we may see some guys going down. But let's see what happens. Purely speculative in opinion on my part here, and don't want to see it happen. In fact, I just like to see a thriving retail silver and gold market here, coin and bar market. And don't get disappointed, my stacking friends, because this does not mean that gold and silver markets are dead. It just means that gold and silver, for most Americans, is going to be in their cyber accounts and their ETFs and such. And it won't be until gold and silver, particularly silver, start to skyrocket that you'll see people come in, and you'll see more stackers and more people. And you start to see people questioning the markets and worrying about, like, if the banks go down, like we did possibly in 2008, which really drove our market up as well. All right. What's going on in the news? Nothing good. Why do I bring up news? Because it has everything to do with gold and silver markets, more or less. The worse the news, the better it is for precious metals down the road at some point, especially economic news. But let me just see if I can make any comments on this. Know nothing about these markets, but very interesting that Warren Buffett has dumped half his shares. Some of the guys that are doing that are very good at talking about markets and know this stuff have been kind of wondering, did he kind of set up that little ramp up that we saw in Apple shares before the dump? Could he have set it up? What's going on? Anyways, this is kind of causing the nervousness when Warren Buffett dumps one of his main stocks, on last week or Friday, whatever it was. This is why everyone's kind of gun shy. For you guys out there that don't follow the Wall Street market stocks and stuff like that, they're very nervous right now because Buffett kind of laid off a bunch of his favorite stocks. What else is going on there? Anyways, that's a whole rabbit hole, more rabbit holes. Makes it easier for cash trap to raid. I don't know how I feel about that, actually. You know what I mean? I think you should be able to raid your accounts regardless and not get penalized, so maybe that's not a bad thing. Let me know what you think in the comment section. That's kind of interesting. Woo, $6 billion. Who did Coca-Cola piss off? Yeah. Let's kind of get out of this. Well, let me see here. Is there anything here really that we need to talk about here? Oh, these are the world's largest silver producing companies. For you guys out there that follow mining stocks and do that, good article on ZH here. I want to learn a little bit about mining stocks too. Anybody want to make some comments in the comment section what your favorite mining stocks are and why? Whether it's your recommendation or an expert's recommendation. I'm kind of curious. What are good mining stocks out there, and what does make a good mining stock? You know what? In fact, I think I'm going to have an interview with someone sometime. I'd love to do kind of a interview like I did with Rafi. I've never done it on my videos here, but that would be pretty fun. But meanwhile, brings up a really good question. Actually, who produces the most silver? You would think that the ones that produce the most silver would be the best companies, but that's not always true because some of them have already pre-sold it or their costs are very high. But here you go. Pan American Silver. Yeah, a friend of mine told me to buy that a long time ago. All right, this might make for a good topic down the road here somewhere. And all right, nothing. I do hope my friends in Israel and the peaceful people in Israel and the peaceful people all over the world and whoever's over there, innocent people aren't killed. But unfortunately, bad things happen in wars, and I just wish the whole world would live in peace. I know, idealistic. Okay, I think that's really about it. I'm not gonna kind of go in too much in the news today because I'm sick of it to some degree. Hey, listen. I'm going to kind of wrap up this video right now, but I have been having a lot of fun out here on the X platform, X Twitter, I should call it, but X platform. Have met a lot of new cool friends out here. I am putting my videos out here as well, and I follow a lot of cool guys. I like this Ergun van Greiser, one of the guys that I've done in my videos many times, read some of his reports in my videos many times in the past. Believes that we're right there. Where the next stop is $50 for us, folks. I mean, I can't argue with that. I'd like to see that myself, but he's saying moving fast. It should not take long to reach. There'll be a pause, and I mean, he's kind of expressing a short-term thingy here. And of course, you can see my political comments on here. And as you know, I'm also a Second Amendment type guy. And speaking of which, I'll be heading out to the range here after I do my video. And getting a few shots in there with the Lord's caliber, I call it, 45. I know some of you 9mm guys going to jump in my butt about that, but the Lord's caliber. All right, well, that's it, folks. Let me talk about last week's video. I'm going to get in the comments real quick because I do have a few minutes to go. But last week's video is gold go down to 2,000, silver down to 25 sometime soon. It's yet to be seen, but so far, silver seems to be wanting to hold on to that higher 20s level, the high 20s level, and gold is just, man, it's hanging on to that high 23s and 24. So, I mean, again, who knows? Never underestimate the power of these big derivatives and options and these crooked commercial banks in the COMEX system. Never underestimate them. They could drop it, but I don't think any drops by the frickin' dips, in my opinion, folks. I don't think these drops will last for long. Let me kind of go over some comments here. We'll go up to, I give a thumbs up on that. And you believe much very, very lower, 500. I can't give you a thumbs up, but I do respect your opinion, but I don't really believe that. So otherwise, I'd give you a thumbs up. I'm going to give you a thumbs up anyway, just for making a comment. How can I invest $10,000? Guy was telling me to purchase gold. And what did I reply on that? Well, he was worrying about, listen, I can't tell you how to invest or what to invest or why you should invest. It's opinions, you know what I mean? And I'm not an investment advisor anyway. I just know my business, which I try to share with you guys, and my thoughts and my opinions with you guys. But as far as carrying, he asked, where do I store it in a mobile home? I was just saying here, you can carry 10 grand, when it was 10 grams in your top pocket, that's pretty funny. You can carry 10 grand of gold in your top pocket. You can carry $1 million. You can get $1 million worth of gold inside a toaster, man. So I mean, storing it is the least of your worries when it comes to gold. Nice, thank you for the comment. Rabbit holes are unpopular truths. That's true. Self-aware says smoke another one. You're on a roll. Oh, I got to give that a thumbs up. Okay. Actually, that would be interesting, doing a Joe Rogan style Elon Musk. I remember that. Didn't they smoke something on the show? I would try smoking something on a show or something like that if Elon came on my show, but yeah, I don't think so. Sorry about that. I couldn't even imagine what's going to happen if I get into that kind of realm right there doing one of those. You'll get me down more rabbit holes, I imagine. When I get in my wine mood, when I do the wine thing, man, I start jumping down rabbit holes. Don't even get me breathing the second hand on that. I'll probably jump down even more. Gold going to 3K and silver to $40. Bravo. Thank you, sir. Thank you for commenting. Silverliner, what's up, man? Record high platinum went higher than gold. Do you think it's possible again? I do think it's possible, but man, it's just wow. Poor platinum. Thanks, Silverliner. I hope you're well, and thanks for commenting. The cranky one says, don't even need to watch. Yes. Cheers, Michael. Coffee. You got my coffee here. One sec. Thanks for commenting for the algo, Marcus Aurelius. New sub. Thank you, sir. Glenville. Appreciate that. Helen Kessler. Watch you and Rafi. Thank you. Had a great time with Rafi. I really did. Mark says, will you be at the Tampa Cold? No, I can't make it. I'm just understaffed, man. I will be at the Lakeland Coin show in Lakeland, Florida in October. You can find that on the collectoramashow.com. And again, that's the collectoramashow.com website. You can find the hours and times for that. Really cool little show if you want to meet me there. Eli says, if it does dip, have to be quick because historically on average, August has higher prices. Interesting. Thank you for telling me that about August having higher prices. Contrary to kind of my memory there, but man, my memory is not what it once was, sir. I would trust, yes, couldn't argue that. Yeah, unfortunately, sadly true. When you can trust another country's a head dude more than you trust your own, that's pretty sad, yeah. Nice to hear from you, MP504. Can anyone tell the future? Nobody can, exactly. Thanks, Vine Shanadu, 9402. Tube Supio, Brian, glad to see you. Thank you very much. In understanding, saying anonymous, great discussion. Hope to see. Yep, the Rafi Farber interview was, again, I had a lot of fun with that. I want to start maybe doing some interviews with guys on my show. It's just fun. It's fun. Silver was created at this point. Gold's created the grit buying silver. Trust me, man. Hang on there, Reefer Gill. You will not be disappointed with silver. I mean, I think the upside to silver is that when silver does really make a run and gold makes a run, I think you're more likely to see a double up and a triple up in silver than you are in gold. That's for sure. So I think the upside is much greater. Although the waiting, anticipation, like the catch-up battle, kill you. All right, folks, thanks for watching. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. And as I always say, think for yourself, question authority, mostly question yourself because we've been lied to since birth. And you can't go around telling other people wrong when you're just internally wrong yourself because someone lied to you or you didn't get it right the first time. So first, question what you think you know, then you become an expert at questioning others. And of course, always question authority. Hey, thanks for watching. And if you're looking to buy gold, silver, platinum in any quantities, give us a call at Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in Lauderdale by the Sea. We have a brick and mortar where we don't have a website where you can buy stuff online with credit cards, folks, but we can still do traditional methods on the phone of buying and selling gold and silver. So definitely call us if you don't have a good local dealer. Always recommend finding a good local dealer. But if you don't have a good local dealer that can get as good a prices as we can, or the online guys, which they're not going to beat me, give us a call. And again, we're open 10 to 4 Mondays through Fridays. Thanks for watching. Let's see what the market's open to like tomorrow. And I'm heading to the range now. I'll let you know how I did when I talk to you next week, or maybe next day. Who knows? Bye now.